Arsenal versus Brighton, Premier League post-match reflection through the Canon lens. So reflecting on today's Premier League game at home against Brighton. So thoughts on the starting lineup. It was a bitter pill to swallow that we lost Timber and Calafiori due to late injuries. But on the plus, Gabriel back on the bench, a massive plus. So Declan Rice fielding at right back was a change, and Hikape came in back in at centre back, and then Marino filled in for Rice in the midfield. So thoughts on the first half. I thought Arsenal were absolutely brilliant in the first half. Dominant display, consistently getting on the ball, playing our football, creating chances. And it was Martin Odegaard, our captain, that gave us the 1-0 lead going into the break with a nice little assist from Saka to Odegaard, who smashes it in from outside the box with a great finish. I was only thinking at halftime maybe we should have scored more. We had a few chances. Gyökeres had a chance early on, and even Saka had a good chance. I thought we should have maybe been 2 or 3-0 up at halftime. So halftime thoughts, I'm just thinking second half now. Let's get a goal nice and early. Second half comes, we get into the game. They made a few changes at halftime because they saw that it wasn't going their way. And the changes made a difference. Brighton came back into the game in the second half, but we got another goal to make it 2-0 with a set piece. Declan Rice with a right in swinger, and it forced another own goal. Soon they'll be singing own goal again, ole ole. I think they was singing that. So that was 2-0 in the second half, and I was thinking, okay, hopefully we can go on and score more. But what happened was we allowed Brighton to come into the game. They got their foot on the ball. They started creating chances, and bang, they scored. They were back in the game. It was 2-1, and a nervy ending because Minte was almost through on goal. He cuts in, he smashes it, and David Raya, our Superman on the day, makes a fantastic save to keep it at 2-1. Now, we got the job done only just by the skin of our teeth, thanks to David Raya with that great save in the end. Probably one of the best saves of the season so far. I feel like I'm saying that every week now. But David Raya saved us. How I feel about how we've been playing recently, I'm concerned. We're not killing these games off. We're not taking our chances. Sooner or later, if we continue like this, it's going to catch up to us. There's going to be a team that's not going to give in. They're going to keep going, keep piling on the pressure, and they're going to get points and take points off of us. If we play like that against the teams in the top 5, the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, Villa, Man City, we don't take our chances, we will get found out and we will get punished, and that could cost us. But today we got the job done, we got the win, but it wasn't an easy game at all. So let this be a lesson. We need to learn from our lesson. I guess the positives are last season we drew against Everton, we drew against Brighton. This time we won against Everton with not playing well. We won against Brighton. We should have been a bit more clinical as well. So that's the positive. So now analysing the players' performances now. David Raya, what can I say? Our Superman today, he absolutely saved us. I thought when it left Minte's foot and I saw it finessing, I thought that was a goal. But David Raya saved us today. He had a fantastic game, And defensively, I thought Declan Rice, considering he's not a right back, he filled in at right back with a professional performance. He was outstanding at right back, up and down, his engine, his energy. He come into midfield at times, to create an overload. He was outstanding. Saliba at the back, I thought was solid. Hikape, I thought, considering it's his first game back, he done really well, especially with the first goal we scored. He made that press on that striker to nick the ball so that Rice could play it through to Saka, who cut it back to Odegaard, and Odegaard scored, but that came from Hikape's high intensity pressing. Similar to how Gabriel would do, I thought Hikape was brilliant today. MLS also had a good game. Now, it was great to see Angel Gabriel return. What a player. Our rock is back. Let's not forget how solid he is, but also he's a threat going forward for the set pieces. So we've got one of our key players back. He's going to be very important in the next few games. Happy to have him return. Midfield wise, I thought Zubamendi today, I thought he had a good game. Him and Marino, I thought they both had good games, average. They weren't the best, but they had good games. Kept it ticking along, made some nice passes, And Zubamendi made a few good, important blocks as well when we were under the cosh, under pressure. Odegaard, our captain today, for me in midfield, was absolutely outstanding. Back to his best. Back to the Odegaard we know, getting on the ball, playing those passes through to Saka. Nice little dink ball to Gyökeres. Class. He's at his best. And the way he took that goal, I like the way he sort of dropped off, came back and took it in his stride, smashed it from outside the box, and disguised. Everyone thought he was going to go that side. He disguised it and went the other corner. Fantastic goal. Fantastic performance from Martin Odegaard. Please keep this going, Martin Odegaard. And yeah, I just thought, that goal topped off a brilliant performance from Odegaard. And on attacking wise, I thought Saka again, attacking threat, relentless. Everything came down from that side. Attacking his winger. He probably should have scored. I feel he should have scored late on. But produced a great assist for Odegaard. So he played his part. Gyökeres, had an average game. He put himself about, but I think he should have scored today. That early chance should have put it in. So there was a chance against the post. Probably should have scored that as well. Guess it was a tough angle. Done well to get into the space. Use his strength, but he needs to be a bit more clinical for me in those two occasions. If we want to be, going for the league, look at Haaland. Gyökeres needs to be more ruthless, more clinical. We're going to start comparing now. It's getting to that time now. Gyökeres for me needs to do better. We've given him time to settle in now. Now he needs to start firing, not just penalties. He needs to start firing. When he gets those chances like he did in the first few minutes, he needs to bury those chances and kill off the game. So, bit of pressure coming from me on Gyökeres now. I think it's about time. He needs to step up. Trossard, I thought, had a quiet game today. Usually he's he comes up with those important goals. Today he didn't. He had an okay game. I've seen him play better. And then I thought, Jesus, when he came on, brought some fresh energy. He almost scored as well. But I like the way he held up the ball and brought in one of our players as well. He looked a threat. He looked a handful when he came on. Martinelli also came on late. Great energy. Great having Martinelli and Jesus coming off the bench. I do feel, however, Martinelli should have scored when Saka crossed it into the box. He really should have buried that and killed off the game. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the players. My man of the match today. It was really tricky today, but you know what? I'm going to give it to Declan Rice today. Do you know why? Professional performance. Filled in at right back. He was outstanding at right back. Up and down. Came into midfield as well, helped out with the midfield overload. Brilliant, up and down. He was just a professional performance, And let's not forget that set piece, that in swinger on his right foot, that led to another. That forced the own goal. That's how good the delivery was. It forces an own goal. He was my man of the match today. I hope and I think most of you probably will agree with that one. Manager, thoughts on Arteta? Again, adapted well considering the last minute injuries to Timber and Calafiori. He's had to adapt. Declan Rice at right back. Great call. Let's give Arteta credit for that. And also in the second half, Gabriel coming on, shore up the back line. And Jesus coming on for Gyökeres, who looked a bit tired. Jesus brought some fresh energy, and there was always a threat on the other end. Even though we were, a lot of pressure, Jesus was always a threat going forward on the other end, and Brighton had to be aware of that. So I thought Arteta, hat off to him, it was brilliant. Great performance from Arteta. Always manages the team well. He doesn't get the credit he deserves, in my opinion. Thoughts on Brighton? I think I said it before. I have a lot of respect for Brighton. A lot of respect for them. Why do I have respect for Brighton? I'll tell you why. They've got a good young manager. They play a good 4-2-3-1 system. Play an attractive brand of football. They play football the right way. They play it out from the back. They create chances. They can be a very attacking side. And they use the width well. I thought they're brilliant. Their recruitment and scouting team, they deserve more credit than they get. They always seem to find these gems, these ballers out of nowhere, and they turn them into absolute gems and they sell them on for a profit. Elite scouting recruitment team down at Brighton. The players I rate for them, I think, are going to get big moves in the future. their defender Van der Heck, Mitoma winger, brilliant. Minter on the right cutting in. I know he was at Newcastle, and Brighton. They've got a good player in there, and I think eventually he'll get a big move. So they always make a contest of it. You know, they're a stable Premier League side. Brighton, a lot of respect for Brighton. So our next game, we're back in Premier League action on Tuesday night, 8:15 p.m. kickoff against Aston Villa, who are the informed team. They've won 11 in a row. That's Premier League title contending form, in my opinion. And yeah, it's first against third. I'm hoping we get revenge. Let's not forget that last kick of the game winner at Villa Park. Let's not forget that. That pain that we felt then, how we felt. Let's hope the players remember that and they go out on Tuesday night and get the win. We have to win that game. If we want to be staying at the top, we've got to go and beat Villa. Last season, we dropped points against Villa, if you remember. This season, we've got to put that right. So, last but not least, I would just like to say I appreciate anyone that took the time to listen to this reflection. It's a longer one than usual. I felt like I had a lot I needed to share. I hope you could connect with some of the things I shared. And last but not least, come on, you Gunners. Peace.